Welcome to
Yeah.
another episode of Political Animals. I'm here in DC, Mustafa Janadu, and I'm in Lagos is Kune Williams. He's the one with the gray beard. And also in Lagos is Saeed, who's the one with the dreads, I think. I can't remember. I'm the cynical one. We bring the analytical point of view. Saeed is the optimistic about Donald Trump, and Kune Williams is idealistic about the world. So let's get started. So Trump has clamped down in California, in Los Angeles, in wake of riots, which were in response to ICE crackdowns. Whether these ICE crackdowns are legitimate or not, nobody has the right to attack infrastructure of a city, and especially to attack federal infrastructure. So what Trump has done is that he's using an incredible amount of force, an incredible show of force by sending in national troops. This hasn't been done since 1992. And the Democrats are saying that it's a heavy-handed move which could escalate the situation. I say that it's a heavy-handed move which shows that Trump is not messing around, that if you attack federal structures, he will meet you with force. So far, since he put those troops there around the ICE area, the area is safe. Nobody's been hurt. Before that, people were spitting on Los Angeles police, burning cars, and then the governor of California says, oh, we don't need Trump. If you don't need Trump, why are people spitting on your police and burning cars? Even as we speak, even though the ICE building is safe and secure, on the streets of California now, people are burning cars. They're automatic driving cars. They're burning cars, they're rioting, they're looting, and all kinds of things. So my thing is that whether or not Trump's ICE thing is justified, as far as taking people, maybe they've been getting kidnapped, abusing rights. That's not the question. The question is that he's justified in putting federal troops in front of a building, because America needs to have leaders which show that there's going to be law and order. Just because you have a problem with the government and want to protest, there's no justification for spitting on policemen. There's no justification for trying to stop federal government people from doing what they're doing, whether you think it's legal or not. If you think it's illegal, go through the proper means of the U.S. Constitution. What are your thoughts, Kunle?
The proper means of constitution does allow the right to protest. So they should protest within the ambit of the law that permits them to protest. So what has happened is that this protest has lost control and turned into a riot. And the question is, who was responsible for turning this out of control into a riot? Was it the authorities that placed people inside to cause subversion and disorganization in a peaceful protest, thus vilifying the protesters? Or is it the protesters that are actually genuinely guilty? We don't know. But what we do know is this, that the ICE raids have been an issue because many Americans have complained that they've been getting picked up by accident, and they're not even immigrants. They're not even illegal immigrants. And aside from the issue of the battlefield on ground and what's going on ground, the bigger picture is what I'm looking at is why are they rioting, and who are these people that are rioting, and what is the cause of it? Because clearly, obviously, the illegal immigrants can't be the ones rioting because they just get picked up and deported. So it must be Americans.
Let me tell you the truth. All I see is Latin people. And a lot of these people in California is a sanctuary, which means you don't even have to be legal to live there. In the liberal cities of America, I'm not saying good or bad, you're allowed to get driver's license and everything, and you're not a citizen. So my guess is that a good 30% of those people in those crowds are not legal. And I don't see black people. I don't see a lot of white people there. This is a lot of Latin Americans.
In California?
ICE has buildings everywhere in America. It has buildings everywhere in America.
They operate in California.
Yeah, but I'm saying doesn't mean that that's the national headquarters. They have buildings in every state because they have to operate in every state and pick up illegal people. So my thing is that in California,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that the people that are rioting, to be honest with you, I bet a lot of them are just lawless people who are using this as an excuse, and some of them are family members of people who are getting deported, whether legal or not. The question is, there's nothing wrong with protesting, but once you start spitting on policemen and breaking things, Trump's question is not whether or not what's the demographics and whether or not the deportations are legal. His job is to protect federal buildings and stuff. And I will tell you this much: when this thing gets out of hand, it won't be Trump who suffers or federal people who suffers. It'll be everyday Americans. During the Lord Floyd things, if you went into D.C., a lot of people were killing people that were their enemies because it was under the thing of, oh, look at that, that's that nigga I know over there, let me kill him now, because there was lawlessness because of riots about race. So what I'm saying is that if Trump had not acted, I promise you, there would have been a lot of crimes in which poor people and businesses would have suffered in California. We saw what happened during the Rodney King thing in California. Trucker man got pulled out of a car, almost beaten to death because he was white. People in the hood killing each other. During the floods in New Orleans, it was mostly Black people who were getting killed, poor people. So my thing is that once these riots start, it won't be the rich or the establishment that gets hurt. It will be the very people who are rioting that gets hurt. I believe that by bringing in military people, Trump de-escalated, because nobody will step up to a guy with a machine gun and a stick and misbehave. And nobody's misbehaving where he only put troops around the ICE building. He's not putting them in the city. And in the city, there's looting. Trump doesn't care about the city because that's under the purview of the mayor. He cares about the ICE building. What do you think, Saeed?
Yeah, I think now everybody sees that it's not as if Trump is just saying American first for nothing.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah. Oh, he's breaking. Let's continue with what you were saying. Yeah.
Yes, so the question is it the case that when we see these things happen, the alternative argument is that this is how authoritarian government quashes protest, by by coming down hard on the protesters and sidelining the issue and making the issue the protest as opposed to the subject of the protest and resolving to see what can be done about it.
The soldiers aren't coming down. The soldiers are not coming down on the protest. They're standing around the building. And if anybody attacks the building, then they'll come down. They're not arresting people. What they're doing is showing force. No, they're showing the threat of force. To me, that's absolutely justified. They're not arresting people. These soldiers aren't arresting people. They're not beating people. They're saying, if you attack this agency, we will come down upon you. Do you see what I'm saying?
But that is not the narrative. That is not the narrative the Democratic leaders are giving.
Oh yeah, well, the Democrats, you know what the Democrats are saying? They're saying even the Democrats, the Democrats are even being smart. They said this is escalating and it could get worse. And they said it's an unnecessary show of force. But my thing is that it's not unnecessary.
Governor Newsom is not saying anything like that.
No, but you hear what Newsom said that it's unnecessary. He didn't say that Trump forces are actually hurting people or attacking them. He said that it's unnecessary and that it's dangerous. That's what he said. And my argument is,
didn't do anything.
To me, to my mind, it's choreographed between the Democrats and the Republicans.
Of course, this whole thing is choreographed.
Veneer of opposition to keep people thinking that, we are for the, because the rich need to depend on the immigrants, but at the same time, they need to vilify the immigrants because the immigrants make money for them. I mean, the poor working class man of today is more productive than 20 years ago, but his earning income is less because the oligarchs tell the poor that it's because of other poor people that you're suffering. And so they now go after those illegal immigrants or go after the vilification of them. Meanwhile, the oligarchs are able to they also want those illegal immigrants because that's cheap labor of high quality, which means that they make more profit. And then the Democrats, who are actually far right, want to create this narration of two opposite sides in order to keep those poor people down so that the poor white people complain about the poor black people so that the rich oligarchs continue to maximize their profit by making this veneer of opposition, which is actually not true. That's my overview.
Yeah, a lot of this is politics. So let's look at it. Both sides are politicizing to a certain extent. The Democrats are politicizing this, saying that Trump is coming and he's escalating things because they want to say he's an authoritarian and that he's breaking rights and everything. But at the same time, they're not providing proper policing of the area, which is leading to right now on highways and freeways, cars are being burnt. So they lack the power, but then when Trump sends in troops, they get angry. Perfect example in Chicago, when Trump's first regime, Chicago had a murder rate of 1,000 a year. So Trump told the mayor of Chicago, shall I send in troops? And she said, no, don't send in troops. She should have let him send in troops because black males are getting killed. But if she did that, it would make it look like the Republicans are right, that blacks don't know how to control their own cities. But let's keep it real. Black cities are out of control in America. But also Trump is sending it there to embarrass her. You understand? So it's that thing. But my argument is that whether Trump is politicizing it or not, I think we can say in this step he did the right thing. He protected federal territory and protected federal agents by surrounding that ICE building, because if not, I promise you, those people would have run that building over and they would have disrupted federal government activities. So even though he may have politicized it, he's acting it right. Now the question is the government behind inciting these riots? That's another question for another day. What do you think, Mr. Kunle?
Yes, well, I also think that the opposing sides are very entrenched in their views. So yes, what Trump has done is to create a good, strong stance of unity, and that has galvanized his own supporters, but it's also alienized the opposing so-called Democrat supporters at the lower levels, and so they have seen themselves at odds with each other, which is what the rich Democrats and the rich Republicans and the rich oligarchs at the top want to happen. They are choreographing, to my mind, a facade and a charade of opposition in order to what's the word I'm looking for? Manufacture. In order to manufacture this opposition of immigrants versus non-immigrants, legals versus non-illegals, black versus not black, but colors versus whites.
But Kunle, so let me say something here. Trump is not going after African immigrants. He's going after Latin American. And let me keep it clear.
Yes, I corrected myself. That's why I said white and colored.
Okay, but Kunle, let me say something, okay? I live in Northern Virginia, and I'm seeing Latin Americans come to America who are illegal or legal. They're getting jobs that black people won't take because it's too low for them. They're stealing jobs from black Americans. They're getting resources that black Americans are getting. In New York, they closed down schools in black neighborhoods to bring in refugees from Venezuela and other countries to stay there, and told the black kids they have to stay at home. Do you see what's going on in America? And then on top of that, the drug problem in America has gotten worse. Black boys have machine guns because of cartel that comes in from Mexico, El Salvador, and those places. So my argument is that even though I'm not taking a political stance, even I am getting tired of seeing people come in from Latin America to America, because it's making my life more dangerous and worse. Do you see what I'm saying? Whether or not I'm not even right wing.
You're saying.
I'm not right wing, but I'm tired of that bullshit. And to be honest with you, I like to see those guys gone, because the crime rate in black neighborhoods has gone up since they come here. Now I'm not so.
Yeah, it doesn't come.
It doesn't. So what I'm trying to say is I'm not against the deportation of masses of people from South America. I'm not, because I'm tired of this bullshit. I know I may sound like I'm right wing, because thank God I'm not right wing. You know why? Because I'll never be the one. I'm not the one to deport them. So I will never deport anybody like the way that Trump is doing it. But I'm going to say I don't feel bad about it. So what I'm saying is that right now Trump has his gauge on the American population. More than 55% of Americans across the board say we have a problem of immigration coming from South America. It's a real problem, and the Democrats don't want to address it at all. They don't want to address it at all. And they hide behind liberal politics. This thing has to be addressed. Illegal workers, people voting because they have a license, but they're not American citizens. All of these are violations of the American Constitution. And the Democrats, so my argument is that whether both sides are doing it, the Democrats are worse, because at least Trump has a mandate. Trump has had the mandate in the elections, and he's following through with everything under his mandate. The Democrats are not following any mandate, which is why they lost. What do you think, Kunle? Then we'll go to Mr. Saeed. Yeah.
Okay, what I think in one quick sentence is that 50% of America's wealth is held by about 10 people. And that's a distraction. So yes, you are right about everything you're saying. Latin Americans being a nuisance and a problem because of the security and the problems that they are raised. What I'm saying is that they are highlighting this as a distraction to the real problems in America, which is about the oligarchy and the way they control half America as well.
Yeah, and even the Latin Americans that are coming in, it's a legacy of George Bush and Reagan sending weapons to South America for trade for cocaine. They're letting it in. So that's a bigger issue. So you're right. That's a deeper issue we have to go to on another show, because it's the economic problem in America that's leading to the violence. And the U.S. has destabilized. The U.S. government has destabilized South American countries to the point where all of the criminals from South America are coming here because of the destabilization of South America. So that's a deeper policy. So yeah, this is a distraction. What are your thoughts on Mr. Said? Yeah.
They don't have a proper leader to get behind. After Trump and Obama, both Republicans and Democrats are now having a personality problem. How are they going to get? Who's the next person that's going to step up that people want to go and vote for? Because I think Donald Trump, at the end of this tenure, America looks forward and like, what's next?
Oh, they have JD Vance.
The AIPAC lobby that controls the two puppets of the string. Yeah, but he's not liked. He's not popular, and there's nobody on the left that's popular. And it's down to AIPAC. I just say AIPAC is down to them to now concoct another story.
So here's my argument. They've done studies. More than half of America's population is uneducated.
To maintain the American dream and to maintain the division in the two parties.
So what will happen is that whoever Trump...
I heard that 1 in 4 thinks that chocolate milk from brown cows. So
my argument is that even though both parties are just following down, the Democratic Party is becoming more and more of an elite party. The Republican Party is becoming more and more, strangely enough, connected to the everyday man. So the Republican Party is the Trump party, and whoever, just like the Pope, whoever the Trump anoints will win just because he told the people to vote for that person. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's why I predict that JD Vance will win. And also JD Vance has tapped into the farming rural parts of America, which the Democratic Party refuses to focus on. The Democratic Party needs to start, just like we said, both right and left actually are supposed to be focused. True right and true left both care about economic well-being of the people. But the Democratic Party is not a left party, actually. It's just an imperialistic oligarchy. The Trump Party, it may not be a party that actually cares about economics, but at least it panders to those people. You understand what I'm saying? The Democratic Party.
But that's not a good thing, because all they're saying is that we are right wing, but at least we're telling the truth that we are right wing. Yeah. Democrats we are left wing, but we are telling you a lie that we are left wing. We are really right wing with a few sexual deviancy things placed inside of us.
Yeah. And also the Democratic Party is pro-crime. It's pro-crime because it takes a soft stance on policing, because they said that police are anti-black. So under the Democrats,
which is not socialism actually, because socialism believes in state and security and all these things.
So what I'm trying to say is that the Democratic Party is more chaotic than the Republican Party. At least the Republican Party, you can get some things. You know that maybe you can get some legal that they can do a show of force to cut down on crime. They won't deal with poverty, although I don't think it's going to work. Crime will always exist as long as there's poverty. The problem with America, there's only one problem. The Republicans will take care of the poor whites, but they won't take care of the poor blacks. The problem with America that's destroying the whole country is the plight of the inner cities. That's where all the crime is coming. That's where the drugs are coming through. So,
but they're not taking care of the poor whites, are they? Oh, no, the poor whites seem to be in a shithole.
They'll find ways. Let me give you an example. If you're a white person and you make $30,000 a year, you can get a loan for a business for $100,000. If you're a black person and you make $100,000, you can't. So there's a still white supremacist system which makes sure that in America, there are no white poor neighborhoods where people are killing each other. In America, in white poor neighborhoods, you still have 2 family members and everything, and there's coherence. Do you see what I'm saying? So even though whites are...
I understand they also have the highest, they take more benefits than any other group though.
Yeah, they do. So what I'm trying to say is that at some level, poor white people in America have a safety net, but blacks have zero safety net. Do you see what I'm saying?
But they're still poor, but they don't need to be. That's another thing.
Yeah, well, none of this needs to take place. America has resources. Anyway, this is a good one. So yeah, we'll continue. What are your last thoughts? Yeah, we'll continue tomorrow.
Yeah, so we just visioned AIPAC's newest sell-off optical crisis in California, where the Republicans have set themselves off against the Democrats on the issue of immigration, illegal immigration, and we've seen that play off today. How it ends, I think it's going to just fizzle out. I don't think it's going to have much carry. But in other ways it will, but then California has never really been a Republican state anyway, so I mean, there's no point preaching to the converted. What we need to look at is how this affects the other states that swing. I think it's the swing states that are more interested in the reaction to this than the states that are solidly on one side, as the puppeteers in AIPAC try to concoct another story to keep them divided, so they do not unite again.
The swing states
which is the oligarchy.
Yeah, most swing states are made up by rural counties mostly, and but in swing states they don't care what's happening in other parts of the country. So this stuff is not happening in Pennsylvania. It's not happening in Ohio. It's not happening in Michigan. It's happening in a super liberal state. Huh?
Yeah, but they know about it, and it will make them think.
They don't care. I live in America. People in Pennsylvania don't care what's happening in California. Do you see what I'm saying? As long as it doesn't come to their states, they're okay. That's why those states are swing. They're balanced. And in the U.S., there's no sense of this is my country. Like I live in D.C. I don't care what's happening in California. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't care.
Well, I also don't know the truth to the claim that these immigration attacks are affecting the agricultural industry. Is it real or is it not real? Or do you know? I mean, is it why?
To be honest with you, I don't know, but it probably is, to be honest with you. And that's a problem with the economic system because you have to have cheap illegal workers. America's production is going to go down by getting rid of these guys. But my thing is that there's a deeper problem in America in which we shouldn't have these problems of labor and stuff with as much wealth. America spends more than Russia and China, much more than them combined in their military. That money should be going.
Yeah, sorry. That's why I said all that money is there, but it's going into the hands of like 5 or 6 people. So it's not being spread. The money is there. But I mean, if one person is holding enough money to feed 200 million people, 50 million people, and that money isn't spread amongst 50 million people, but one person who can only eat one plate of food, at a time, then of course you're going to see this problem. That's why I keep saying that the biggest problem is the oligarchy, because so much of that money is locked in 1 or 2 individuals that could have been shared amongst millions of people to change their lives. And that is the facade that is being maintained.
Oh, yeah. And that's a deeper issue because these riots and everything, these are the signs of an empire. Once you start seeing the president have to send military people, it's the thing he's trying to mask is the thing that he's exposing if you're a critical thinker. It exposes the fact that the U.S. is an empire in decline. America looks just like Rome in its last days, where you have centurions and people standing to protect areas and stuff. So this is a bigger issue. I don't know when America's going to learn it. And I'm going to say it again. America needs to become a socialist or a socialistic state. So on that note, your last thoughts and take us out. Yeah.
Yes, well, I mean, I'm great to say that to hear what you said. America can always bounce back because they have the basic infrastructure. The people need to have a reckoning and to have an understanding of their country better before they decide what is good and what is bad. These riots are another distraction, and they're just another evidence of more puppeteering. And we will see that they will fizzle out. It's just a form of propaganda that'll be used. I believe will be useful in the next election, just to talk about, remember when this thing happened in 2025. It may not have much impact. But I think that's where it's going. It's trying to create a story, a new story around the two parties, so that whoever you decide which side you want to go for, AIPAC will still control the two parties and thus control power in America.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, well
said.
So
that's why.
The last show we did, that one we did on Trump, it got 1,000 views. That was a good one, though. The one about nature. So we want to ask people to continue signing on to us because we have no political affiliation. I don't know if you're a left. I'm on the left, but I'm not a Democrat or Republican because neither of them are on the left.
I don't believe in left or right. I believe I believe in Machiavelli. What does need? I think that every government requires some right and some left.
You're practical. You're pragmatic. I'm pragmatic, but idealistically, I'm on the left. But if we can't have the left, then we have to have Machiavellian. I do believe in that. Okay, thanks, man.
If you're rich, you should be on the right. If you're poor or a student, you should be on the left. And you should choose based on your circumstances.
Yeah. But we know that in reality, in nature, there's no extreme, so there's always going to be a complicated system. But all of this violence needs to go, especially what's happening in Israel. But that's a story for another day. All right, thanks, Tony. So we'll see you tomorrow. Okay.